it's not just a problem within the Pakistani community, and I know two wrongs don't make a right, but where were these white girls' mothers? I mean, you know, it is a problem. The Pakistani men did do what they did, but you've got to look at the bigger picture. I mean, it's not just the Pakistani community. Where was the police? The police should have got on it sooner. The CPS should have got on it sooner. The councils, well, they could have done something. Yeah, they could have done some CCTV. They could have done some safeguarding. They did do the act, but other people could have played a role in preventing it. And I know two wrongs don't make a right, and I will reiterate it. Where were these white girls' mothers?
Well, I don't think that we should say, okay, no, Pakistanis are the best and leave us aside and stuff like that. I think we should face it and we should look at the underlying factors. So why are these people doing these kind of crimes? You know, they've got kids themselves, so why is this happening?
Can I just add that these girls were very brave to come forward. They were white girls that came forward, but there is nothing to say at all that there was no Asian girls or black girls that were involved in these. These girls came forward. The problem we have with Asian girls is that their parents, if they even told their parents, they actually look at it in a different light, that they've got to get married tomorrow, they can't let this out in the community. So they would actually brush that under the carpet and keep it quiet for their own honour more than anything, you know. So that's why we were saying that these were white girls, but we don't really know the full extent of how many victims there were, you know, in this. But it was the brave white girls that had to actually go through it. And it's actually, again, we come back to the police. This case was actually first reported in 2008. The CPS brushed it under the carpet, shall we say, and just closed the file, saying that it wouldn't actually hold credibility. Okay. Again, it was reported to the police in 2009. These girls went to the police and said, we have this problem, you know, of abuse and stuff. They said it would be seen as a racial motive. It took 4 years. In 2011, change of chief crown prosecutor. The gentleman that came into Nazir, you know, he came into as his position. He was the one that said it's not about racial thing, it's about gender, it's about protecting these children. He brought this case to trial 4 years later. What happened in those 4 years to those girls, the ordeals and the more victims? You know, we don't know, you know, the full extent of that, you know, but it could have been stopped and preventing more girls going through this ordeal in 2008 if the Chief Crown prosecutors took this case seriously.
But what we have tried to get across is that the men who committed this act were a minority. There were 10 out of a demographic of 60,000, which is a real minority. And these 10 men, they don't represent South Asian culture at all. They don't represent South Asian community. They represent culprits. They represent other criminals such as murderers, arsonists, etc. They come in that category. These South Asian men, before they're South Asian, they're criminals, they're adulterers, they've done satanic activities. They're a million different other things before they're South Asian.